Welcome to the Nonprofit Founders Club, where founders who have said, I have my 501c3, now what? Begins building the nonprofit they envisioned and helping the people they are called to serve, all without being the sole funder. Welcome to the Nonprofit Founders Club. This month, we are in a new series where we are exploring your first appeal or fundraising letter and how to write one. The end of the year is the best time to ask for money. At the time of release, what we are discussing will be very useful since we are approaching the end of the year. In the last episode, we talked about what an introduction appeal letter is and why it's a good strategy when you are new. If you haven't listened to it, then I encourage you to go back to that episode. This week, we are walking through how to write an appeal letter. This letter should be sent to 10 of you and your board members, friends, and families. If you have letterhead, print the appeal letter on the letterhead. So, it's time to dive in. First, we are going to talk about the parts of the introduction. So, since you are writing to someone you know, you don't have to introduce yourself, but you do need to introduce the organization. Tell the reader the good things you've already accomplished. If you've had an event already, share some highlights. If you have recently received your tax-exempt status, then tell them that. Remember, your reader is someone you know well, so celebrate the little things if you don't have a big thing. Give a sneak peek at what you're working on. This is where you talk about tangible things your organization is planning to do for the next 3 to 6 months, but be very brief here. Right now, let's move to the parts of the body of the letter. So, why is your board member involved with your organization? This is a general reason. You can survey your board members for the most common reasons to put here. Your board member will have a place to put their specific reason later. You can add a few statistics about the problem locally and why the organization has the best solution to solve the problem. But don't put too many statistics in here, though. We want to keep the emotional side of the brain turned on. This is a good place to use the founder's story and vision. It may be the one why most board members are on your board. We begin transitioning to a specific ask in the next section. If you would like to start a program and need funds to do so, then begin laying out in general terms what your program is, how it will work, the need in the community, and who it serves. The third section of your body says will make a direct ask for funds. It gives a goal and a suggestion of a dollar amount. You want to connect with your friend and the common interest you believe they share with your mission. Give them the big dollar figure, the total cost of your project, and break it down for them. Use your big dollar figure and divide by the number of letters going out. This will give you a baseline for an average gift you will need to receive per letter to make the goal. If your average gift is not $25, $50, $75, or $100, then round to the nearest gift. Always let them know you are grateful for any amount. All right, now let's talk about the conclusion. So it's technically still part of the body, but we start to wrap up the letter by thanking the person in advance for their support. This creates a happy and upbeat ending. The signature and title go next, and then the PS is incredibly important. The name and PS of a letter are the two things that are always read. Let me say that again. The name, Dear Sally, and the PS, whatever you put in the PS, those are the two things that are always read in any letter. The PS really is a short summary of your letter with a call to action. So in case you don't know, a call to action is a sentence that tells the reader what action you want them to take. All right, so last, you need a statement in about 8-point font. This is your fine print. This statement should say, quote, any money in excess of and you state your specific goal, will support the organization where it can do the most good, end quote. Instead of do the most good, you may use where it's needed most. Both are common phrases. This helps you keep the funds unrestricted and able to use for anything in the organization once your goal has been reached to do the specific ask you said. Now, I just said a term that you may not understand, and that's unrestricted funds. There are two types of funds in nonprofit work. There is restricted and unrestricted. When it's an unrestricted fund, it means you can use it for anything in your budget. A restricted fund is one that is very specific to only one thing in your budget. So you want to make sure that if you go above your goal for whatever it is, so say this letter is for program startup costs, and you exceed that goal, you want to be able to use the excess in something else other than startup costs because you have what you need. So maybe you want to roll it into programs, or maybe you need to use it somewhere else in your budget. You can do that when you unrestrict funds. So what I've just told you will help you unrestrict any funds that go over your goal amount. All right. Last thing, once your letter is printed, and this is very important, have your board member write a few sentences by their signature with a very personal ask or reason they serve. If they're not comfortable asking for money, that's okay. Have them give 1 or 2 sentences about why they are on your board. This will help the letter be less of a form letter and more of a personal note. And if the board member gives a couple of sentences that speaks to that specific person, it's going to really help the donations even more. Okay, we have walked through the introduction appeal letter writing process. So start writing your letter today. If you need help, the Nonprofit Founders Club Facebook group is writing a letter this month, so I invite you to join us. Also, don't forget to download the swipe file where I give you an example of an introduction appeal letter. It's actually the one that I wrote, and you can find that in the show notes. That's it for the Nonprofit Founders Club podcast. Hit subscribe so you won't miss the next episode. In the meantime, keep building your nonprofit so you can help those you are called to serve.